if you're watching on YouTube, DaBaby is behind Dave, and behind me is Lollapalooza. And why is that? Well, this past weekend, Lollapalooza had DaBaby as not the main headliner, but I think he was like one of the top two or three billed for their Sunday
Mhm.
closing. And Sunday morning said, Lollapalooza was founded on diversity and acceptance and blah, blah, blah. And because of that, DaBaby will not be performing. And this, of course, is based on DaBaby's comments at Rolling Loud. What was that the weekend before, I
Yeah.
believe?
Mhm.
And he made comments, told people to come to the front if they don't have one of those deadly diseases like HIV or AIDS, or if you weren't, giving people, if you weren't another guy giving people blowjobs in the parking lot, those sorts of very bigoted and uneducated
Yeah.
comments about the LGBTQ community. Um, and then doubled down, releasing a music video that uh, you know, kind of mocked the controversy around that. Really showed a lack of understanding of the criticisms against him and why saying something like that is really not okay. Um, and so Lollapalooza said, "You're out." Replaced him with Young Thug and G Herbo, and then this morning, uh, Governor's Ball. We're recording on Monday, August 2nd. Governor's Ball also said that DaBaby would not be performing
Mm.
based on these comments. And prior to recording today, DaBaby did release a apology via his Instagram. Dave, what do you think about this whole controversy? Like, what do you make of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Just one completely ancillary note. Why wasn't G Herbo already performing at Lollapalooza this year? A Chicagoan, a very famous Chicagoan. That was a kind of weird thing to see. I was like, wait, you added G Herbo? He wasn't already going to be there? Like his fellow men wouldn't want to go see him? Like, it's fucking weird. Anyway,
I wonder if they already had him as like a surprise guest for that day, and then they were
okay,
just like,
perhaps.
okay,
Yeah.
well, I don't
Also,
know.
you fucked up when they're picking Thug as your replacement. Thug is not someone who is immune from controversy either. Let's not forget.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is kind of just another entry in like a larger sad story, and I'm sure we're gonna have more of this in the future because it's the way we are as a society. And it's also coming at an unfortunate time because it's kind of almost directly linked with reactions to Little Nas X's "Industry Baby" music video, and it's just all kind of coalescing as one. And like homophobia in music, homophobia in culture, rap specifically, not new. And like I said, we'll continue to see it. But the thing with DaBaby, I think the big lesson here was the lack of remorse when you are called out on that
Mhm.
is where they're gonna get you. People will give you that chance. Like there's all this culture war stuff about cancel culture, but you don't actually, nothing actually happens to you when you just admit to what you did and
Mhm.
come up with a PR apology and try and move on. But DaBaby didn't do that for a whole week. Like you say, he doubled down. Dua Lipa was very critical of him.
Yep, Elton
He,
John.
yeah, DaBaby in turn was liking tweets critical of Dua and stuff like that. Like he was completely doubled down on this for a long time. I think that actually shows that it's like not just like any kind of lapse, but it's like cockiness, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that that probably is what pisses off the industry people more than the actual homophobia, whether that's good or bad, you know. But yeah, obviously it sucks, and when you ever see people too, it's like, oh well, the baby's from the hood. That's just how it is. Like, there's not gay people in the hood. Like, there's just there's no good like response to it, And it doesn't mean we have to completely vilify the baby forever, but now he needs to actually prove that he's not, you know, a shitty dude. And like I
Yeah.
remember this kind of came up kind of recently with Migos in regards to I Love McConan when McConan came out and stuff like that. But it's a lot of work to be done, and um, yeah, definitely like unexpected because he was just kind of going off at his show. He was not asked about this. He was doing it on his own. It was something he had to get off his chest. Felt deeply rooted, um, and that's sad.
Yeah. I think sad is probably the word that has come to mind most for me when I'm kind of trying to think of my reaction to it, mostly because, um, obviously it's like you said, it's like a stray bullet that this community that's already marginalized and underserved and has been incredibly resilient, facing some really harsh political stances and still fighting for those rights.
Mhm.
It seems like there's always the risk that there's a political decisions that may impact that community in a negative way, whether that's transgender rights or it's not that long ago that gay people were given the right to marry, which is just insane to think about.
Mhm.
That was probably that was within the last decade, I
That
believe,
was
or
Obama presidency when that happened.
crazy. So um, to be like still here, and like you said, there's a lack of education. There's obviously there's some bigoted views that he attributes to, or people have been attributing to maybe his community growing up, which I don't necessarily believe in, or I don't know if I totally buy, I guess. Um, I just hope that other artists take note of this,
Mm,
and are at least more thoughtful. There's no way every artist is going to be an ally, whether it's a true ally or a public ally
mm,
for these communities. But like you said, he just didn't even have to say it. Like, and it's the sort of thing where
yeah.
he wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to come out and apologize unless his bag was affected. It seems like, and that's what makes this even more of a bad look. Is that he only, it seems like, apologized because these festivals started pulling out on him, and probably other festivals were telling him that his spot was in jeopardy. So, um, really hoping he takes this to heart, and that other artists do too, because it's just totally unwarranted.
Yeah, I mean, and looking forward, actually, I guess looking back, I've seen some critics. Like I think DaBaby when he was still on the warpath was like posting screenshots of artists that have homophobic lyrics. And it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that history. I think
Yeah.
it's just kind of where society's at a point now where it's like moving forward. There's not a lack of tolerance. We're not in
Mhm.
this like authoritarian state where anyone who's ever said a fucked up thing uh, is done. Obviously, that's not how it is. But you need to understand the times we're in, and the times we're in include Lil Nas X as a pop superstar who is not afraid to show who he is.
Yep.
And on the converse, you have someone like T.I. equating being public about your uh, sexuality somehow being equated to being public with your personal homophobia on DaBaby's part. There's like so much more work to be done, and I think Lil Nas X is, not necessarily a fair burden to lay on him, but that's just what's going to happen because he is very confident in who he is, and he seems to be pushing things forward because it's like the next stage of like the sexuality really being public during this time. Obviously, Elton John we was we were so far removed from what society was
Yeah.
like when Elton John was in his heyday, right? And
Mhm.
Tyler the Creator is not, super public and commenting on who he is. And Young M.A. is quite masculine and like almost, treated like anyone else in hip hop. But Lil Nas X is who he is. And I think that's going to
Mhm.
continue to push things forward. Um, but there's going to be more bumps like this unless the PR teams really like hunker down and say like, hey, even if you do slip up, you can't be a unremorseful asshole.
Yeah.
Because like I think that's really where you turn people off.
Oh, completely. Yeah, very unfortunate. Probably not something we're going to be talking about too much more, at least not in regards to the baby. If it obviously if it comes up with other artists, we would.